what if it's playwriting? What if it's writing is the thing that I'm meant to do? Doing the thing that you love and really doing something that you feel is important and it's a privilege. You have everything to gain and nothing to lose. My name's Ishy Din. I'm a playwright. I was born and brought up in Middlesbrough in the northeast of England, and I left school in 1985, which anybody who sort of is old enough to remember that time will realise that places like those industrial towns in the north had been decimated. But I had a plan. I thought, oh, well, I'm a brown person in the north. I'm going to open a business and I'm going to become incredibly rich and buy a Mercedes and next door's house and do all those sort of things that I thought this is what it's all going to be about. Life is going to be a bed of roses. It turned out that I'm a really rubbish businessman. And then what followed for the next 20 odd years was me opening a business, failing miserably, going off and doing something, working in retail or in, warehousing or something like that, opening another business, failing miserably, paying off debts and starting again and opening another business. And in between, driving cabs. I did a lot of cab driving in between. And I was sort of in my mid-30s and really scared. I was thinking, is this it? Is this what's in? Because I'd done the business thing, I'd worked for people, I'd done all of that sort of thing. I thought, and it was quite frightening time in my life. And I'd just bought my daughter's a computer, the first ever computer in the Din household. And I used to resent the fact that these 6 and 7-year-olds would come and play on it for a little bit and then get a bath and go off to bed. I think, I spent all that money and it just sits there, nobody uses it. And I was driving a cab and I heard an advert on Radio 5 Live saying that they were looking for short, sporting-themed radio plays. And I thought, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll use that newfangled machine that I've got and I'll enter this competition. And so I wrote this story about these 2 young Pakistani kids who go and watch Middlesbrough play football for the first time, and printed it off, put it in an envelope, put a stamp on it, sent it off to the BBC. Absolutely convinced that somebody at the BBC is going to read this and think, what a git, and put it in a bin. But they called me back a few weeks later and said, we loved that. And I think there was about 1,500 entries and they were making 10 of them, and mine was one of the 10. And that was that moment where I thought, oh, I've tried all these other jobs and, options and businesses and all of these sort of things. What if it's playwriting? What if it's writing is the thing that I'm meant to do? It was an odd journey into it because, as a sort of working class lad from Middlesbrough, doesn't feel like they have the permission to be a writer. It's not something that occurs to you. It's not something that you think, oh, I'll be a writer. So that revelation that perhaps I can do it, perhaps I'm allowed to do it, was quite profound at that time. And the fact that I was pretty rubbish at everything else I'd attempted in life, it sort of focused the mind a bit, because it's really difficult, and you have to have a real resilience to keep going, because there's lots of heartbreak involved and there's lots of knockbacks that you get. Like, my close friends were really encouraging, and obviously family just loved it and really, supported me right through it. It was an odd thing for the community, because, there are these different levels. You sort of, your family, your friendship group, then your community. And because it's a relatively small place with a relatively small community, everybody knows each other. So then there was this thing, and I think generally it was positive. I think the big misnomer is that when people think writer, they think J.K. Rowling and think hundreds of millions of pounds, and you've got to sort of dispel this idea that it's not that, and it's about doing the thing that you love and really doing something that you feel is important, and it's a privilege to sort of say to somebody, give me some money, sit down, I've got to tell you something really important about who we are as human beings. You know, there's a certain amount of narcissism involved in that sort of thing. So, yeah, that took a bit longer for it, and to sort of dispel this idea that, oh my God, he's going to be, you know, he's going to be this incredibly rich and glamorous person that's thinking. And I was like, you do not understand writing at all. You're not glamorous. It's none of this. It's incredibly solitary, and sort of you oscillate between thinking you're a genius and thinking that you're a complete and utter fraud. So, you know, it was an odd thing, but ultimately fantastic, and ultimately really positive, to, you know, for my family, for my friends, you know, who all come and watch my plays and recognise themselves. Lots of people sort of say, "Oh, that's that, isn't it?" And I'm, you know, and hopefully positive for my community. I hope I've had a positive impact on them, but you know, that's up to them to decide, I think.
So what made you apply for the position of associate playwright at the Royal Court?
I wasn't going to. I'd seen it. I was thinking, oh, this is fantastic, you know, and I knew David's work from the new diorama, so I knew he had this fantastic eye for great stuff and what have you. And I thought that'll be a great gig for somebody else, you know. And then a couple people phoned me and said, you should really apply for this. And I was like, really? Me? Do you think? They said, yeah, you know. So I thought, just on a whim, and I don't normally apply for jobs. Does that sounds weird? I don't normally, you know. So that whole thing was a new experience as well, about, you know, sort of filling out forms and applications and giving reasoning and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just a moment. I had to really think about it, you know, when people suggested that I apply, to sort of say, but why me? Why will that post benefit from having me there? And I managed to convince myself that actually, hopefully, that my lived experience and my journey into writing and where I'm from, the community I'm from, the region I'm from, the class I'm from, all of these sort of things are not something that I can then sort of help build connections and pathways for other writers to be sort to get here and perhaps one day have work on at the Royal Court, but more importantly to sort of introduce them and help them think about their craft and their work and have big ambitions and have these get their work on. You know, one of the premier new writing theatres in the world, isn't it? And you know, if I can help in any way, or if I can help facilitate those relationships, then yeah, I think I'll have had a positive impact, you know, with my time here. Well, first and foremost, you know, take that. If that's what you want, go for it. It is an incredible privilege. You get to, like I said, you get to give your take on the world, on the human condition, on who you think we are as people, and how society operates, and loads of things. And that's an incredible privilege. You don't know till you tried. I spent 35 years of my life thinking, well, people like me don't do things like that. You know, that's what those people over there do. We, you know, but that isn't for people like us. So yeah, go for it. If that's what you want to do, go for it. Get to the end. Don't worry. You know, don't worry. You have, I think the biggest piece of advice I'd give to somebody is you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. You know, you have everything to gain and nothing to lose. That I suppose would be my one piece of advice. Ishy Din announcement, roll 1, scene 1, take 1.